Next week, Lifetime will air their first. Next week, Lifetime will air their first Christmas movie featuring a sex scene. The sex scene will finally explain why Santa named that one reindeer Vixen. That's a weird name for a reindeer, man.
The TSA reports that in the first 3 months of this year, they have intercepted 1,500 guns in carry-on bags, and the majority of them were loaded. 'Cause you're giving me that window seat.
May is National Masturbation Month, so stop knocking on my dressing room door. New Jersey police recaptured an escaped pig named Albert Einstein. They call him Albert Einstein because compared to people in New Jersey, pigs are geniuses.
Dunkin' has announced a new beverage called the Shamrock Macchiato, which combines espresso, vanilla, and Irish cream. It's the festive, sugary drink that will have you saying top o' the morning and losing the bottom o' your leg.
Melania Trump made a rare public appearance when she attended the funeral of former First Lady Rosalind Carter, who died at the age of 96. Melania said that she was deeply saddened to be reminded that your partner can live that long.
A woman complained online about a date in which a man snuck out of the restaurant and stuck her with the bill after watching her eat 48 oysters. And like you, I was completely on her side until the words 48 oysters.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced that Dolly Parton would be inducted this year, along with Eminem, Lionel Richie, and Carly Simon, which begs the question, what is rock and roll?
According to a new study, just one drink a day may shrink overall volume of your brain. Though I think I speak for all alcohol enthusiasts when I say, buh?
Working on it all.
Really good. An elementary school teacher in Wisconsin was arrested after she allegedly made out with one of her 5th grade students just months before her wedding, which is why you should never have your bachelorette party at Chuck E. Cheese.
A growing number of black men feel like the Trump and Biden campaigns are not actually trying to forge true relationships and just want their votes. Yeah. During a new
report shows that Loma Linda, California is the city most likely to become a blue zone, which is an area where people are healthier and live longer, while the town least likely to become a blue zone is once again Breakfast Fettuccine, Texas.
U.S. officials are concerned that Vladimir Putin is keeping military units positioned near Kiev despite earlier promises to withdraw. Putin's failure to pull out has earned him the nickname Nick Cannon. Ron DeSantis reportedly spent $1.5 million on private jets in just over 3 months because when he flies commercial, they make him take off his heels in front of everybody. A new survey shows that 92% of adults prefer to date someone who's been to therapy, while 8% prefer good sex.
And look, I know that this seems like a huge step backwards for our country, but we have to remember that progress isn't just a straight line upwards, okay? It's a weird roller coaster where sometimes you're screaming for joy and other times you're barfing in your own face.
During Congress's final day before the holiday break, the House passed legislation that would end a ban on whole milk in school cafeterias. Finally, let's get these kids thick.
Now, the debates are apparently all finished, and I'm upset. How did we never get to see RFK Jr. in a debate? How were we robbed of that? I love that RFK Jr. admitted he dumped a dead bear in Central Park, he chainsawed the head off a dead whale, strapped it to the roof of his car like a Christmas tree, and he told us a worm was living in his brain, eating through his head, and still everyone is like, you know who's weird? J.D. Vance. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. The jury in his defamation case has ordered Donald Trump to pay writer E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million. And Trump is a billionaire, so obviously he immediately hit up your grandma for $5.
On Monday, Donald Trump testified under oath in his civil fraud trial, though technically he was never sworn in because the Bibles kept bursting into flames. Donald Trump said the results of the 2020 election should be overturned and called for the termination of the Constitution. Trump plans to terminate the Constitution by asking Herschel Walker to drive it to the clinic.
They ordered Trump to pay $83 million. That's how unlikable he is. For perspective, O.J. Simpson only had to pay $33 million for a double murder.
He didn't even do it.
Oh, okay, well... This Trump...
In Monday's Iowa caucuses, Ron DeSantis beat out Nikki Haley for second place. Well, that ought to put whatever this is on his face. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who looks like someone drew Ving Rhames with their eyes closed, endorsed Donald Trump. But remember, most Trump supporters only count him as 3/5 of an endorsement. Oh, boy.
After a judge issued a gag order against President Trump, Trump told reporters that the judge said, basically, I don't have the right to speak. Then he added, she's like literally killing me. Then he yelled, you're not even my real mom, and slammed his bedroom door. Kyle must have driven Trump crazy. The judge kept telling him to shut up. The jury made him pay triple what the victim asked for. Even the courtroom sketch artist made him look made him look like that lady who got her face ripped off by a monkey. The only way this could have gone worse for Trump is if they took away his businesses, which is, of course, what happens in next week's trial.
Insiders are concerned that President Biden's chances for re-election could be damaged by his unwavering support for Israel. But I think the bigger problem for Biden is that he is 6 years older than Israel. Shame on you. A 3-year-old girl from Texas has become the youngest person ever to visit all 63 U.S. national parks, unfortunately in the talons of an eagle. After Ron DeSantis endorsed Donald Trump, he called DeSantis a really terrific person and promised to stop calling him Ron DeSanctimonious. Well, it's like a wise man once said.
You can be the most worthless Republican in America, but if you kiss the ring, he'll say you're wonderful.
Well, John Kerry announced that he is stepping down as the U.S. climate envoy and is expected to focus on President Biden's re-election campaign. And it's not a great sign that Biden's campaign is a bigger emergency than climate change. In an interview on Fox News, presidential candidate Nikki Haley said that America has, quote, never been a racist country. Because if Americans were so racist, why did they have sex with their slaves? After the New Hampshire primary, Nikki Haley attacked Donald Trump and called out his, quote, senior moments, which made Trump so angry he almost ripped off the safety rails on his toilet. Ronna McDaniel was reelected as chair of the Republican National Committee in a closer than expected vote over challengers Harmet Dillon, MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, Twitter user CatTurd2, Kevin Sorbo, Kyle Rittenhouse, and of course, Colin Jost.
Haley also called Trump totally unhinged and called for him to take a mental competency test. And here's some footage of Trump trying to buzz in with his answers.
Ding, 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 ding. Pshing, boom.
See, he's fine. Hasn't lost a step. Trump did have a slight stumble this week while talking about banks, and he introduced an interesting new term called debank. Republican Representative Derek Van Orden, who looks like if Santa stormed the Capitol, argued in front of legislation to bring whole milk back to school cafeterias, saying that almond milk wasn't milk because, quote, milk comes from a mammal. Then he whipped out his nipple and said, allow me to demonstrate.
We're also going to place strong protections to stop banks and regulators from trying to debank you. They want to debank you, and we're going to debank.
I don't know what the hell debank means, but he might have to take de-ambulance to see the doctor.
I'm really proud of that.
A Christmas photo released by the royal family features a bad Photoshop job where Prince Louis's finger appears to be missing. And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
President Biden is planning to send the director of the CIA to broker a deal between Israel and Hamas because no one eases tensions in the Middle East quite like the CIA. The CIA is like the Draymond Green of peaceful solutions. During Congress's final day before the holiday break, the House passed legislation that would end a ban on whole milk in school cafeterias. Finally, let's get these kids thick. The man who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer has been found guilty and is expected to be in prison until Trump's first day back as president. He gonna win.
Yeah.
A new report shows that since the abortion ban took effect in Texas, the number of teenagers in the state giving birth rose for the first time in 15 years, which is terrible news for Texas, but great news for my new store, Michael Che's maternity prom dresses.
After Trump was photographed with some strange red marks on his hand, some dermatologists speculated it could be something called hand herpes. What the hell is hand herpes? Said Tim Scott.
I like this crowd.
Yeah. Lily Gladstone is the first Native American woman to be nominated for Best Actress. That's right. It's a historic moment her fellow nominees are calling, "Please don't let us win." A Volvo crashed through the front of a Whole Foods in a Maryland suburb. It was an accident so white that everyone's insurance went down. A passenger on Spirit Airlines was arrested after he repeatedly asked female flight attendants to join the Mile High Club, even though Spirit's airplanes can't get above 300 feet. Gladstone's nomination comes after several Native American actors were snubbed in the past, including Johnny Depp in Lone Ranger.
The Japanese movie Godzilla -1 received a surprise Oscar nomination for its visual effects. Also receiving nominations, the Godzilla prequel, Oppenheimer.
And yes, it is true, Michael Jackson is going to be a father. Already he has hired an entire staff of nannies, nurses, and extra bodyguards, which hopefully will protect the child from Michael Jackson.
March is Women's History Month, so ladies, that cake is not going to bake itself. Before you ladies get angry and send a bunch of messages about how sexist that joke is, let me just remind you to finish baking that cake.
A new study suggests that heavier women get paid less than thinner women. That is, unless Che is at the strip club.
And they say black guys don't tip.
In Virginia, police are looking for a stripper who stabbed a man for telling her she was too fat to strip. Police warn that the woman is armed and extremely fat.
Police in California are searching for the person who broke into a woman's house and stole a box containing her late husband's ashes. It's like they always say, no matter what, some bitch is always trying to take your man.
In Detroit, under a new prison rehabilitation program called Fresh Start, employers will get a tax break if they hire an ex-convict. Employers who hire more than one ex-convict will get robbed and killed.
According to the adult website Pornhub, the most searched for term in 30 of the 50 states was lesbian. But keep in mind, Michael travels a lot.
Lonely on the road. Police in South Carolina arrested 3 women in bikinis who were beating up another woman. Said police. All right, break it up. That's enough.
In a recent interview, Christy Brinkley suggested that football players should have special gloves connected to lights on their helmets. That way, when they catch the ball, you'll know who has possession. Read these and other interesting ideas in Christy's new book, I'm an Idiot.
Subway sandwich spokesman Jared Fogle, who pleaded guilty to having sex with minors, was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Fogle said he was just happy to get anything under 18.
How did you think that was going to end? A British sex toy company has constructed a private booth in New York City for men to masturbate in. Good, because I'm getting tired of doing it in Colin's office.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding, man. I would never get tired of masturbating in your office.
Come on, man, I sleep in there.
The New York City Transit Authority plans to put up signs in subway stations asking city residents to be more polite when getting on and off the subway. Most New Yorkers say the idea sounds great and that the new signs will make excellent urinals.
California is considering a new law that would fine actors in pornographic movies up to $70,000 if they don't wear condoms, said the porn industry. Oh, yeah? And what are you going to do to us if we don't have the money?
The October issue of Penthouse, now on newsstands, contains a picture billed as, quote, the alien, the world's first authentic photograph. A survey of Penthouse readers finds that 60% think the photo's a fake, while only 40% think it's real. All 100%, however, found it, quote, surprisingly easy to masturbate to.
A new study finds that nearly half of non-smoking teenagers in the U.S. are exposed to secondhand smoke, while the other half don't have stepdads.
A French government survey finds that Disneyland Paris is the most popular tourist attraction in the country. And the most popular ride? Women who don't shave their armpits of the Caribbean.
After just 3 months in prison, former Subway spokesman Jared Fogle has already gained 30 pounds. But that's what happens when your portions stop being child size. Oh, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. Oregon police arrested a man who tried to steal a 2-foot-long python from a pet store by stuffing it down his pants. Yeah, said the man, I'll give you a hint about which snake in my pants is bigger. It's the one that just bit my penis.
The L.A. District Attorney's Office has given Marsha Clark and Christopher Darden bonuses of over $10,000 for, quote, lengthy hard time duty, unquote, in the O.J. Simpson case. A spokesman for the DA said that the prosecutor's bonuses would have been even higher, except for the fact that they let a killer go free.
Burger King has introduced a Halloween-themed burger that has a black bun. Oh, sure, but when I turn black for Halloween, I'm setting back race relations.
I begged you not to do that.
In what is considered a remarkably short period of time, the head of the Federal Advisory Board, Dr. Peter Mellman, has given speedy approval to a controversial new anti-obesity drug. It should be noted, however, Dr. Melman's wife is a fat pig.
A new survey lists the most romantic city in the country as Alexandria, Virginia, while the least romantic city is once again Flu Farts, Ohio.
A man in Brazil says that a penguin he rescued 5 years ago swims more than 5,000 miles every year just to visit him. That's how good the sex is.
Finally in the news, what is America's most honest city? To find out, a team of sociologists left 10 wallets filled with cash on the street in various urban centers. In Atlanta, 7 of the wallets were returned. In Seattle, 9 of the wallets were returned. But not surprisingly, in New York City, only 1 of the wallets was returned. Empty and shoved up some dead guy's ass. Campaigned in New Jersey, vowing, in his words, to prove Yogi Berra was right when he said, "It ain't over till it's over." Reached for comment, Yogi Berra said, "It's over."
You can't have whatever you want, all right? I know the forefathers said you have the right to own a gun, but they also said you could own people. Which, by the way, if I owned a whole field of jacked Africans, I'd probably want a dozen or so guns too.
Against the Jets last week, Buffalo Bills running back Thurman Thomas broke O.J. Simpson's career rushing record, and the week before, he surpassed Simpson in career touchdowns. Next up for Thomas, an attempt to kill 3 people at once.
A new study suggests that house cats share similar personality traits with African lions, and if they were bigger, they would kill their owners, instead of just waiting for them to die of loneliness.
Doctors have discovered that deer hunters are at an unusually high risk for stress-related heart attacks. Also at high risk for stress-related heart attacks, deer.
A Florida woman found a missing cat from Wisconsin which had wandered nearly 1,500 miles over 2 months. Or, and hear me out, sometimes cats look like other cats.
A team of doctors will soon perform a surgery that uses muscle and skin from a man's arm to give him a new penis, which he was born without. And before the man with no penis goes into surgery, let me just say this. Good luck, Colin. Now that's not...
A female prostitute who was mistaken for a man spent 15 hours in the men's jail in Denver, where she had consensual sex with 2 male prisoners, making that the first time anyone at any time in any prison ever has ever had consensual sex.
A new report says the best place in the world for retirees is Switzerland, while the worst place for retirees is still at the top of a staircase.
Walmart stores have banned singer Sheryl Crow's latest album because of a lyric in one of her songs that says, quote, "Walmart sells guns to children." Oddly, the store made no objection to another lyric in the song, quote, "Walmart sells crap."
Hellmann's has announced that it is releasing an eggless vegan version of its mayonnaise. Hellmann's is calling the product Colin.
It's his month.
Oh, man.
Happy birthday to Mitt Romney, who today turns 69, which for Mormons is a sin.
Simpson had been discussing marriage with girlfriend Paula Barbieri, but reportedly she has called the wedding off. Her fear was that if they married, she would be brutally murdered. And then someone would try to pin it on OJ.
A nurse in New York State has lost her license after she was convicted of taking a picture of an unconscious patient's penis with her phone. Though, in her defense, it was a pretty hilarious use of face swap. What kind of awe?
In economic news, the Mexican peso yesterday sank to an all-time low as it showed up drunk to a family reunion and hit on its cousin, the centavo.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Michael Cohen, whose cologne I can smell through this picture, testified against Donald Trump this week. Cohen was portrayed by Trump's attorneys as someone who hated Donald Trump and was trying to get revenge. But the only evidence of that comes from Cohen's upcoming book, I Hate Donald Trump, but I'm Trying to Get Revenge.
McConnell officially endorsed Donald Trump for president because despite their differences, they actually go way back. Donald Trump endorsed Mark Robinson for North Carolina governor, calling Robinson Martin Luther King on steroids. Not to be confused with Martin Luther King on Ozempic. All right, you go again, Kyle.
Well, great news for conservatives. New York is finally cracking down on crime. Former President Donald Trump was indicted for his role in paying hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels, and the trial will be like a Stormy Daniels movie because I'm deeply ashamed at how excited I am to watch it.
On Monday, Donald Trump testified under oath in his civil fraud trial, though technically he was never sworn in because the Bibles kept bursting into flames.
Former president and current courtroom sketch model Donald Trump testified on the stand for the first time in over 10 years. And it's fun that nobody is 100% sure which trial this sketch is from.
Trump is reportedly being charged with 34 counts of business fraud. Business fraud is also what they call the Trump costume at Spirit Halloween. President Biden on Friday told reporters that he had no comment on Trump's indictment, and then he danced away like the Six Flags guy.
Biden also took time in his speech to say that shrinkflation is affecting Snickers bars and that people pay the same amount for 10% fewer Snickers. And I got to give him credit because it's pretty risky for a white guy with a stutter to keep saying the word Snickers.
In an interview, Senator Mitt Romney said that he will not vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. Now, some of you may remember Mitt Romney.
After a judge issued a gag order against President Trump, Trump told reporters that the judge said, basically, I don't have the right to speak. Then he added, she's like literally killing me. Then he yelled, you're not even my real mom, and slammed his bedroom door.
Donald Trump said the results of the 2020 election should be overturned and called for the termination of the Constitution. Trump plans to terminate the Constitution by asking Herschel Walker to drive it to the clinic.
A new report from the White House claims that President Biden's billions of dollars of student loan relief will disproportionately help Latinos, which has earned Biden the nickname El Papa de Sugar. I think in general the people might be overreacting to this indictment. Like an actual headline on CNN yesterday was, nothing in American history approaches the tumult of the charging and possible trial and conviction of a former president. A more accurate headline would be, man we all knew was criminal may be criminal. At this point, it feels like even pro-Trump people have moved on. I mean, I went down to the courthouse today and I was the only protester there.
Insiders said that during his hush money trial, Donald Trump complained that none of his supporters were in court with him. But that's not true. What about all those cops?
Trump's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, a.k.a. Phony Soprano, said he doesn't think Trump is going to get a fair trial in Manhattan, and I agree. I mean, even the courtroom sketch artist seems to hate him. I thought Trump looked perfectly nice. He had blended his foundation, stapled down his hair, but then he drew him like the mud monster from Scooby-Doo.
A new poll shows that supporters of President Biden and Donald Trump are sharply divided over where they get their news from. People who support Biden are more likely to get their news from newspapers and mainstream media, while Trump supporters get their news from T-shirts.
It happened. And yesterday on Truth Social, Trump posted a courtroom sketch of him sitting next to Jesus. Because if there's one guy whose trial famously ended well, it's Jesus. Former President Donald Trump, seen here definitely not sleeping. He's probably just praying. Former President Trump, for the first time in his trial, wrote a message on a yellow Post-it note and handed it to his lawyer while he was making an argument. The Post-it read simply, "Can't pay you."
President Biden signed a measure that would force railway workers to accept a deal that averts the strike but does not include paid sick leave. Why do you expect Biden to care about sick leave when he shows up to work every day with full-blown CTE?
Donald Trump urged his supporters to brave the sub-zero temperatures in Iowa to vote for him, saying, even if you vote and then pass away, it's worth it. Voting for Trump and then passing away is also what happened with COVID.
Newly released video of a deposition to New York's Attorney General's office shows former President Trump taking the fifth hundreds of times. Also taking the fifth, his lawyer.
This week, Donald Trump Jr. testified in his father's civil fraud trial. And based on this courtroom sketch, I feel like it didn't go great. He's supposed to be talking about real estate, but he looks like he's on Law and Order saying, "That girl came on to me." And unlike the other packed courtroom days, only 4 people showed up, and Donald Trump Sr. was not present, which is just like all of Don Jr.'s childhood birthday parties.
Donald Trump said that at the debates, he wants both of them to stand instead of sit. So that's the status of our presidency. Standing is a feat of strength. I think we can learn a lot more watching them both try to get out of a beanbag chair.
After Trump was photographed with some strange red marks on his hand, some dermatologists speculated it could be something called hand herpes. What the hell is hand herpes? Said Tim Scott.
Michael Cohen testified that Trump would look at the total value of his assets and say, I'm actually not worth $4.5 billion. I'm really worth more like 6. 4.5 is basically 6 is also what he tells Melania.
I'm glad you told it. Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here watching someone get injured at the Special Olympics, said that he is not concerned with threats Donald Trump makes at his rallies to remove him as Senate Minority Leader. In fact, McConnell says the threats make him laugh harder than his favorite comedy show, Dahmer. Mitch McConnell, seen here watching the bank foreclose on a single mother, says that he has completely recovered after 2 incidents where he appeared to freeze up and become unresponsive. But suspiciously, he made the comments while being held up by 2 guys in beachwear. Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here being told a black woman made a country album, has come out in favor of a bill that would potentially ban TikTok in the U.S. Of course, for McConnell, TikTok is just what the Grim Reaper says while tapping his watch. Former president and current reverse mortgage applicant Donald Trump criticized Biden's speech, saying the words are not flowing smoothly out of his mouth. Well, we can't all speak with the same effortless grace as Donald J. Trump.
Just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
It sounds like someone just inserted a colonoscopy camera.
The FAA revealed that Donald Trump's Boeing 757 clipped a parked plane when it landed in Florida. But the good news is Donald Trump flies around in a Boeing, so...
This trial must have driven Trump crazy. The judge kept telling him to shut up. The jury made him pay triple what the victim asked for. Even the courtroom sketch artist made him look made him look like that lady who got her face ripped off by a monkey. The only way this could have gone worse for Trump is if they took away his businesses, which is, of course, what happens in next week's trial. Senator Rick Scott, seen here learning that Harry Potter has fallen into his trap, announced that he is running for re-election, promising to finish the border wall and name it after Donald Trump, even though most things named after Donald Trump are complete failures.
That was my best joke, Colin.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said next week she will force a vote to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. And if there's one thing I bet she's amazing at, it was reported that the James Bond books are being rewritten to remove offensive material. So the character Pussy Galore will now be called Cooter Aplenty. Today was the SantaCon bar crawl in New York City. Yeah, the annual reminder that while Santa may exist, God doesn't. Tennis star Andy Murray was upset after an umpire at the Australian Open refused to let him take a bathroom break during a 5-set long match. Worse, it was deuce. A British pilot created the largest ever portrait of Queen Elizabeth by drawing her outline on a flight path over the country. Let's see a picture. Wow, that's a stunning likeness. The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to Mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95? In a new Scooby-Doo Halloween special, the character Velma is openly depicted as a lesbian. Finally. She was openly depicted as a lesbian, which explains why Scooby is now a rescue pit bull. The publisher of Roald Dahl's books announced that they're altering some of his insensitive language, like the words fat and ugly, as well as modernizing his portrayal of women, which will mostly affect Dahl's beloved children's classic, The Fat, Ugly Wife Who Knew Her Place. I don't know if you guys saw it today. Morocco beat Portugal in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. It is, it's the best World Cup performance by a team of Africans since the unpaid workers who built the stadiums. Do it? After Walgreens announced that they will stop selling abortion pills in 21 states, CVS has remained silent on the issue. While over at Rite Aid, you can just grab a pill from the Take Abortion, Leave Abortion pill. Kevin Spacey, hold for applause, Kevin Spacey made his first public speaking appearance in 5 years where he thanked Italy's National Cinema Museum for having the balls to invite him. He also asked, could I touch the balls? I'm kidding. He didn't ask permission. As this year's awards season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less. The U.S. Surgeon General is warning that children are joining social media at too young an age, and they should wait until they're at least 16, when they're hotter. Disney World is closing Splash Mountain to turn it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure after complaints that its Song of the South theme was racist. Okay, but where's the outrage about Disney forcing a mentally challenged dwarf to mine blood diamonds? The Dallas Zoo has been dealing with the disappearance of several animals, including a leopard, monkeys, and a vulture. In an unrelated story, check out my amazing coat. Planned Parenthood says it will soon open its first mobile abortion clinic in the country, which will make it easier to provide care to patients anywhere in the country that Herschel Walker has visited. A woman in Atlanta gave birth to her baby in a McDonald's, so caution, wet floor. The National Brotherhood of Skiers is pushing for greater representation of black people in winter sports, which are predominantly white. So it seems like someone's a little jealous that we took their precious dunk contest. Biologists in Florida are warning that the Jesus Christ lizard, named for its ability to run on water, could spread harmful diseases to humans. They hope to control the population by introducing a Pontius Pilate lizard.
That's sweet.
During a White House ceremony, President Biden wished Kamala Harris a happy birthday, then accidentally called her a great president. Even worse, he was talking to a portrait of Michelle Obama. The Los Angeles Zoo announced that Evelyn, a 46-year-old gorilla famous for her red hair, has been euthanized. Not because she was sick, but because it's LA and she was in her 40s. Okay. For the first time ever, two brothers will be facing off against each other in the Super Bowl. Incidentally, two brothers in the Super Bowl is why my grandfather won't be watching.
On February, man, wow.
Earlier today, an American fighter jet shot down a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that had been spotted crossing the United States, officially ending history's most complicated gender reveal party. And bad news for China, it's a girl. Officials in Colorado say that a bear discovered a wildlife camera in the woods and posed for more than 400 selfies. 400 selfies of a bear is also known as a Grindr profile. Elon Musk took over Twitter. Use of the N-word on the site has reportedly jumped 500%. It's the biggest increase in the use of the N-word since the last time I stubbed my toe. But the biggest upset so far in the World Cup was that favorite Brazil was eliminated, except for a tiny strip down the middle. A new report shows that New Jersey has the second worst roads in the country, while the worst roads are the ones that go into New Jersey. Florida has proposed legislation that would allow residents to carry firearms without a permit. Also, everyone gets to do one murder. The Supreme Court heard a case this week over whether a conservative evangelical woman can refuse to design a website for a same-sex marriage. But, honey, I don't know any gay couple who's going to hire a designer with those highlights. This Tuesday was National Vodka Day. Oh, so that's why my dad called. A new study finds that long-distance running does not cause wear and tear on marathoners' knees, but it does sand their nipples clean off. During oral arguments in the case, Justice Samuel Alito raised the hypothetical, could a black department store Santa be forced to take a picture with a child dressed in a Klan robe? Alito added that he'd love an answer before he takes his grandkids to the mall next week. Some owners of McDonald's franchises are reportedly concerned about a campaign partnership with Cardi B, especially the ad where they claim their burgers have a wet-ass patty. Oh. Is to keep it fun, light. No one's going to get canceled. No one's families are going to get threatened. You know, have fun.
Sure, we'll see. Why don't you go first?
Doctors in Iowa have confirmed a dog disease that can be passed on to humans. Fine, I'll wear a condom. That's fine.
An obese monkey in Thailand named Godzilla has been sent to a special facility to lose weight. Officials realized the monkey was overweight when a bunch of black guys kept hitting on it.
That's pretty racist.
You're gonna get me murdered. Oh, God. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
It's just that it's very complicated.
It's kind of like how you feel about Colin Jost.
Oh, no. I love Colin.
I will say that. In a offensive way, you know?
Never had sex with me, you might have the cure for cancer. A 96-year-old German woman who was a secretary at a Nazi concentration camp has been released from detention. She is now safely in the custody of her grandson.
Michael, wait. What are you doing?
An update feature. Wow. So this is SNL.
And Grandma, if you're watching, go to bed. A new report finds that as people move into formerly wild areas of Africa, human activity is disrupting chimpanzee culture. Incidentally, chimpanzee culture is also what my grandpa calls hip-hop. Why?
I wouldn't have said that. Do a split screen of Colin and Stephen Miller for one
You
second.
don't have to do that.
Okay, now, audience, by a round of applause, who do you think Hitler would want to be friends with? Stephen Miller or Colin Nixon Jost?
That's not my middle name. A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
A new report shows that Hurricane Florence was the wettest in history. The previous record for wetness was set on the opening night of Magic Mike. Pope Francis ended a Vatican summit by promising the Catholic Church would confront the clergy's sex abuse head on, instead of their usual way, face down, ass up. Las Vegas is opening a pop-up vaccine site in a strip club, and don't worry, the strippers say the vaccine is a lot like Michael Che. Very quick, and you can barely feel it go in.
I know that we've had a lot of fun with me reading racist jokes that Michael writes for me, but because our country is already divided enough, I'd like to use my platform to say something that everyone of all races can agree on. Woody Allen is innocent. He did nothing wrong.
Police are being investigated after video surfaced of them using excessive force on a homeless black man accused of urinating in public. But I say great work keeping our streets clean, boys. Yes, sir. Anything the police do is all right with old Mikey Che.
Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby.
I I know I'm probably the only black man brave enough to say this on live TV, but blue lives matter even more. Pretty insane that a major city is about to completely run out of water in 2 months, and I'm just now hearing about this. It's kind of embarrassing. I feel like I should care more about Africa. Kind of like when you run into an old friend and ask, hey, how's your kid? And she's like, Che, he's your son too.
Well, I knew you'd like that one, so here's another one. And before I go, I just thought of another punchline for that Black Superman story. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. In this version, Black Superman's kryptonite is an honest day's work.
Really doubling down on Black Superman.
Black Superman will be referred to as the Man of Steel, spelled S-T-E-A-L.
I was this close to playing a dead guy in the J-Lo movie Hustlers, but I didn't get it because they didn't call me in for an audition. But when Jay go low, I go high. Let's ride.
You've shown me this before. I don't even think this is literally papyrus. Maybe that was the starting point, but they clearly modified this.
But whatever they did, it wasn't enough!
For sure, my dudes. The struggle is real.
Now go wash up for dinner.
What are we having?
Basketball.
What could you have possibly made that got 3 billion streams?
Yeet!
You have a song called Yeet?
Yeah!
This is my platonic work friend, Amy.
Oh, hey, thanks.
So,
Hey, Taylor, look what's wrapped around my finger. It's your dad. I know how much you like batteries.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Notes app. Are you looking to post a lame apology 20 years late? Go through the motions with the Notes app.
These Flatiron Megans bring you on a sexual eye contact journey of a lifetime. Take it from...
so when you die, you just gone forever? Bingo.
Why?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for this bitchin' hat.
I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but I like it.
I am going to put a candle in front of the person I think is doing the worst.
Me?
You have sad eyes, ma'am.
Y'all want to laugh at me just because I had a nip slip at a pep rally. Joke's on you. That was just a big old mole.
Jared.
Let's do this. First of all, you came to where I live and you hit me.
Your father is a Han Solo action figure. He's not even our scale. What kind of slut are you?
What? Oh, yeah. Well, what? Oh, yeah.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, burn that dress.
This is gonna be such a fun night. Look, it's Kylie Jenner. Can I get a selfie? Can I get a selfie? Look, it's Chris Hemsworth. Can I get a selfie? Can I get a selfie?
Look, it's a scientist.
No thanks.
I'm your mother. No. Hey, you know what? I am your mother.
Okay, all right.
I'm your mother.
You might think I'd bring up Joe, that guy who broke up with me on the phone, but I'm not gonna mention him. In my monologue, hey Joe, I'm doing real well. Tonight I'm hosting SNL.
When I first taught you how to swim,
Oh yeah, frickin' wet.
And before I turn around and go like, what half my ass is gone.
Suddenly she sees the Christmas Savior's here tonight. It's a candle, flame, peach candle. It's been sitting by a bike pump for a year.
Avatar, the giant international blockbuster, used the papyrus font as its logo.
That little bastard set a snare for me. Next thing I know, I'm being winched straight up through the world's sappiest pine tree, right? My slacks got snagged on a branch, so they're gone. And I'm hauled on board with my bush and my tush hanging out.
Okay, yeah, and David Pumpkins is
His own thing.
And the skeletons are
Part of it.
the great Debette Goldry.
It's an honor to be where am I?
Jazz was born in New Orleans, or as it's correctly pronounced, Nerlens. And then from Nerlens,
Yeet, yeet, skirt, yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt, skirt. Roll up, yeet, drop that, yeet, skirt that, yeet, pop that, yeet. Hey, 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 hey.
You never loved me, Mom, but I needed you. Whoa, yeah.
This lamp used to be an antique watering can. And if you can believe it, this trendy necklace used to be an old badminton racket. Speaking of...
I know what you did!
Ken, what have you got in there? Is that one of my Bob Mackies?
No.
Sneaky little queen!
Plastic, bitch! That was, something?
But remember, you're still gonna be you on vacation. If you are sad where you are, and then you get on a plane to Italy, to you in Italy will be the same sad you from before, just in a new place. Does that make sense?
And I'm literally injured, but all anybody cares about is that, like, 40 or 50 people died or whatever.
Well, it was 1,500 people.
Why are you attacking me? You said you would be my Oprah, Colin.
I never said that.
Well, someone did.
Because you didn't save jazz. We saved jazz.
They're giving out these.
Oh, kiss me, I'm Irish.
You insist.
And just a warning, I have an addiction to pushing myself and cocaine.
Haven't you ever wondered why we look so much alike? Or why we're both double jointed?
When I say death is, you say final. Death is final. Death is final. We can take you on a hike. We cannot turn you into someone who likes hiking. We can take you to the Italian Riviera. We cannot make you feel comfortable in a bathing suit. We can provide the zip line. We cannot give you the ability to say we and mean it.
Like a big frisky fat man?
Ugh, my dad is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
What a dork.
He's so
bad.
What the fat hell are you talking about? Because that is a full-blown beef meat.
A doorman who always high-fives children of divorce.
You get the picture. Santa's my boyfriend.
Up Santa, get out of my bed. It's time to deliver those presents.
Oh, yuck! It's just filled with garbage in here.
It stinks.
Oh, well, you can always make toast in it, right? Put a little butter and bread on some toast.
Why would I make toast outside?
And let it dump you out into Mulholland where you belong!
Sure. At this time of day, it's gonna be jammed. Are you crazy? And I'm a huge mess.
Many doctors are saying that they have a hard time convincing their black patients to agree to take the COVID vaccine. Well, maybe they should try telling them it makes you immune from paying child support.
This week marks the start of, okay, but what about a White History Month?
Tomorrow night, the New England Patriots will face the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52. So whether you're a Pats fan or an Eagles fan, remember, child support was due on the 1st.
Experts are saying that Cape Town, South Africa will completely run out of water on April 12th. Meanwhile, in the rest of the world... Yeah, that's fine.
This week marks the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus. And I just wish that all black people could follow her example of sitting down and shutting up. Oh my God. A group of geneticists have announced plans to bring back the dodo and reintroduce it to Africa. And if you ask me, I can think of at least one dodo I'd like to reintroduce to Africa.
This week, sky gazers were treated to the beaver moon, which is only visible for a few seconds when the moon gets out of the shower. MJ, the musical about the life of Michael Jackson, has become one of the highest-grossing shows on Broadway. And my review of the acting is the same as my opinion of MJ's trial. Michael is amazing, but the kids are not believable at all. Next week, Lifetime will air their first Christmas movie featuring a sex scene. The sex scene will finally explain why Santa named that one reindeer Vixen. Weird name for a reindeer, man.
Well, this week, we said goodbye to a former First Lady, a former Secretary of State, and the Supreme Court's first female justice, and also a guy who claims to be all three of those things.
Melania Trump made a rare public appearance when she attended the funeral of former First Lady Rosalynn Carter, who died at the age of 96. Melania said that she was deeply saddened to be reminded that your partner can live that long. Last month, Beyonce posted a photo on Instagram of herself in a chrome Versace dress and platinum blonde hair that many people online described as too white. In fact, Beyonce looked so white that I was finally attracted to her.
That was in confidence. Disney announced that they'll be making 2 more sequels to Frozen. But by the time they come out, the only thing frozen will be Elsa's eggs. She wants a career.
The FBI has launched a corruption investigation into New York Mayor Eric Adams by seizing 2 of his cell phones, one named Work Phone and the other named Shorties and Shady Stuff. A new app has been introduced called Wrapped that claims it can show Instagram users who is looking at their pictures. Uh-oh, said a bunch of high school teachers. A first-class dining menu from the Titanic is being auctioned off for over $80,000. The menu includes duck in a port wine sauce, spring lamb, and bottomless water.
Oh.
It's the Titanic.
Because of the Titanic, right.